folks, how's it going? I would like to do something a little bit bigger this week. I've been doing a lot of, well, let's go take a look. As you can see, the wall has a lot of 11 by 14 size, not a lot of 18 by 24. And I have a lot of 18 by 24 paper. I've got 3 books that are at least 24 sheets. So I think I need to start using some of that up. So that's what we're doing today. Have a seat with me. Please join me and pull out your art supplies. I'd love the company. Oh hey, look at that. It's a brand new book. Brand new to you anyway, not brand new to me. This is my warm-up book. I use this in the morning. I usually do about 15 or 20 minutes in it, maybe 30 if I'm really feeling that episode of Star Trek that I'm watching. And of course, in a regular sketchbook, you don't really need special allowances for smearing with pastels, so I just use a regular pencil. I have several to choose from. This time, I am using a Lumograph pencil, 3B, I believe. Yes, it is true, I do own more than colored pencils. So this is just a quick sketch. I think it took maybe 10 minutes front to back, just getting a proof of concept for what I want. I end up skipping the drawing step of the main piece that I work on, just because it was kind of, I had the camera settings weird and I didn't notice it first, and it wasn't usable, so I skipped it. So the reference photo we're using today is of a very smug man in a silk bathrobe holding a glass of red wine. And, you know, going back and forth, I'm actually finding that I prefer the larger pieces, actually. You know, working in this size, I used to enjoy it, but now that I've really, kind of stretched my wings a little bit, it's so hard to get the detail that I want in there. Regardless, it is a good warm-up, and that's what it's here for. And actually, I just switched to this pencil. Before this, I was using a Faber-Castell 9000 series 2B. Gotta say, I don't like them as much as I do the 3B Lumograph. I've just gotten used to how soft the Lumographs are compared to the Faber-Castells. It's mostly a preference thing. I got nothing against Faber-Castell as a whole. I actually love their colored pencils, or as we call them up here in the good old Canada, pencil crayons. I kind of wish that I had shot this from the overhead view, but it involves changing out the quick plate on my camera, and quite frankly, I'm too lazy for that. I do have a tripod head with the proper quick plate attachment to it, ready to go, but I haven't found the time to switch them out. It's simply too busy right now. You know how June is, it's always go, 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 and it's never stop and smell the roses. That's about it for this sketch though, just kind of highlighting where I might want different shading to go, but here we are to the main piece. So here we are to the main piece, done in a, I believe, Crayola erasable pencil, and of course on my 18 by 24 Strathmore 400 series drawing paper. This is still a favorite of mine. Granted, I've only tried the 2 papers in this size, so they do get quite pricey when you start scaling up. I think that this sketchbook was actually about $30. $30 on BOGO anyway, so that works out to about $15 per sketchbook. And I don't know if I'd actually pay any more for these than that. The pastel paper was a little bit cheaper. It was about $20 for the sheet, but it's not a sketchbook, it's like a pad of paper glued on one side. It's also much thinner paper. But we're starting in with the eyes. Gotta make them nice and bright for this smug man. The one on the left is just a little bit too squished for my liking, but it works with what I'm doing here, so I'm gonna just leave it like that. Going with an ever-classic yellow, green, and blue motif for my faces. Trying out a new thing where I make it just a little bit more interesting visually, where I actually zoom in on the body part that I'm working on. Right now it's the face. And I'm just gonna let it ride for at least 1 episode, just to see how I like it, and what I could do better to fix it if I do like it. Oh, I almost forgot. The set that I'm using is my Mungyo Gallery 72 set. I know that's not that surprising. You could probably see it on the beginning of the video, but whatever, it's all good. It's just the way it is. I don't know, I'm starting to crave a little bit more texture lately, so maybe I'll bust out my Crayola Expressionist. It's always good. It's been so long since I've touched that, probably about 2 months. It's just been sitting there wasting space. This might be a case of grass is greener on the other side, though. I had problems with that set when I was using it. The color is very blotchy. It might have been blotchy, but it was intense, though. Got some gorges going on with the purple and the green in the face there. I should use more purple. I definitely have the purple now in my set. nice range of purples and violets and blues to choose from. I could probably make a pretty nice looking face with those cool colors. Got the littlest bit of differentiation for the nose. I don't do too much about that. Kind of just a little bit of a blob on this painting. I do like that subtle change from the yellow in the cheek down to the corner of the mouth there where it's a very minty green. I can't decide if I like the transition from purple and green or yellow and green better. Although I do like the combination of yellow and purple as a whole. It's one of the best and most forgotten video game characters after all. Oh yeah, that's right. We're talking about Big the Cat. I always tried to get into Sonic video games as a kid, but I don't know. My grandparents had a Sega, what's the cartridge one thing? Genesis? Sega Genesis. Let's just call it a Genesis. They had a Sega Genesis at their house, and that was the only time I ever got to play Sonic. And to be honest, I didn't spend a whole lot of time playing Sonic. I would much rather play Echo the Dolphin. Y'all remember that game? I almost feel like I should put a note in for spoilers, but the game is from 1992, so maybe just listen at your own risk. So in Echo the Dolphin, you play a dolphin, oddly enough, and you run around and you fight sharks and you sing to things and then you travel through time and fight aliens, and it's just all kinds of strange. I never got to the alien parts as a kid. I was really bad at video games. Although, looking at the Wikipedia page for Echo the Dolphin, it was supposed to be really hard, so maybe I shouldn't feel so bad. Going back to the painting, you can see I did the barest minimum with the scribbling on the facial hair. One of these days I'll actually make an effort on facial hair. Until then, enjoy. Speaking of bare minimum efforts, I also have the ear going on, so that's fun. And then finally, to round out this whole charade, we're skipping the eyebrows, because really those are the most expressive parts of the face, is the eyebrows, and you can't put those on, because then people would be able to tell what you were drawing. So, just to recap, we're skipping the eyebrows, we're skipping the hair, we're going straight to the neck. It is unbearably hot in my studio right now, so I just turned on a fan, so if you hear any background humming, that is what it is. It is a pretty small fan, so most of the noise should be lost by the time it hits the microphone, but it is what it is, am I right? So we're just about done the neck. It is a mix of primarily blues and purples with some green mixed in, just for a little bit of difference. Oh, and look at that, we finally added the eyebrows. So the eyebrows are a dark brown mixed in with a little bit of black just to make a little bit of shading difference in the first part of it where it's normally a lot darker. Oops, look at that, some highlights for the hair now too. These don't stay in that long, they mostly get covered up, but it's the thought that counts, am I right? Actually kind of looks like a little bow right now. So the hair is going to be one large layer of red-brown followed by a little bit of black over top of it. Kind of want to go for that like a glowing outline kind of a thing. It's very advanced. So while we wait for the footage to roll forward and finish up this little hair thing I've got going on, how about a little bit of a story that goes nowhere, hey? My fiance and I were driving all over the city to go to Michael's this weekend. We even drove, this was kind of an auxiliary trip, but we ended up driving about 2 hours to go to another town. And while we were there, we stopped at the Michael's in the area, just cause they've got a sale on large frames, and I kind of really wanted to be in that part of that. But do you know how hard it is to find cheap poster frames? IKEA's got weird sizing. The dollar store doesn't stock them at the moment, and normally they're like $30 a piece, but when they're on BOGO, you gotta move, because other people want them too. Seriously, I'm very upset with IKEA, because not only are their frames half the price, they're also in metric measuring. So instead of being 18 by 24, they are 41 centimeters by 51 centimeters, which is about 19 inches by 27 inches is the closest size. And the backing is made of cardboard, so when you try to gesso it to kind of save up on matting costs, you end up curling it up all over the place, and it's just a mess. I ended up getting 6 frames total, so that's about, oh god, that's still about $90, but it's better than getting 3 frames for $90, I guess. Oh geez, and while I was telling that, we moved on to a whole new part of the body. This here is doing the house coat. Nice shades of gray. That's one of the things I don't really like about this set. It's got a bunch of grays, but they're all different kinds of grays. You can see that the really dark one is a blue gray, so is the light one. They've got a neutral gray, and then they've got a green gray. It's a mess. Just give me one kind of gray. Just give me a warm gray in 5 shades and I'll make the world move. It's one of the things I really like about my Ohuhu marker set. Oh my god, that's right, I use different art supplies. These last couple of months I've really been on a streak because I've been trying to get prepared to have things to sell at an art show, and you can't really sell marker art at an art show because it fades so quickly. But I've got markers, I've got pencil crayons, I've got paint markers, I've got all sorts of stuff. Maybe you can't pin me down. Going back to my painting, because, that is what you clicked on, is this painting. I'm actually doing a hand this time, which is kind of different, and to be honest, this hand goes through a couple different iterations. I scrape away some pastel, go in, scrape away some more, go in again. It's a process. And I don't record the whole thing here. You'll see a little bit of it at the end of it, just the finished product. It is what it is, right? And it's gotta be what it is, because you can't really be as smug as this man without holding a glass of wine. I think next time though, I'm gonna change the camera angle for the ends of this, kind of like the corners of this piece, because my hand's in the way a lot doing this hand. And there's just like not a lot of gain to it either. It's just there. It's just always there, nothing really changes, and the hand doesn't really get better. And I think you'll notice that I am not used to it because I revert to less bold colored decisions. So I'm using a lot of pale yellows, a lot of whites, a lot of dusty rose. There's a little bit of deep yellow there and maybe some dark browns, but nothing that really jumps out as my style. I used to do a lot of hand practices. Back when I didn't really know what I wanted to be doing, I was just kind of doing a little bit of everything, which is like portraits and full body and faces and half portraits and 3/4 poses and funny dance poses and just a little bit of everything. I even did a couple landscapes. That didn't last long though. They were mostly in pencil too, but I do have a couple in marker. This glass of wine gets fixed too eventually. Not on camera, but it does look better. I promise. Oh, I promise it looks better. And because I didn't cut these camera takes to quite the correct amounts, you can see me busting out the Crayolas, and oh, there we go. Starting on the background. Oh boy, is this set not doing that well. I think I actually use up my brown on this one. Not quite sure what I was thinking with the glass there being such a different color to the rest of it. Kind of giving me that, you know those old ashtrays? A lot of you probably won't remember this. You're probably too young, but they used to let you smoke indoors, and there was a very special shade of brown that they would use for the McDonald's ashtrays. It was just a gorgeous smoky brown that looked like you could drink alcohol out of it. And really, I think that shading for those wine glass kind of fits, because this guy's got a lot of late 80s, early 90s vibe going on. Still haven't put varnish over this piece. I might go back in and kind of like spruce it up a little bit, because it ends up just being all brown background. So maybe I'll add a couple of little black spots or something, just something. So this Crayola set is just about done, right? And I do have another one just waiting in the wings, ready to take over on the day that this one finally craps the bucket. I think it's got about 14 colors total in there out of 16. There's a couple that are really, I haven't touched, like the pink and the white. There's not a lot of use for pink and white in backgrounds. Anyway, they are kept in very similar spots, and occasionally I will grab the full one by mistake, and let me tell you, the weight difference is incredible. It's like twice the weight. Well, actually, I mean, it's not that incredible. I mean, like probably half the pastels are missing in this old set, but like you don't notice that happening while you're using it. It's just one day you just happen to pick up a full set and you're like, holy crap, this is what the full amount of pastels is supposed to weigh? I've got more footage, but it's mostly of the back of my hand, so I'm just gonna cut it here and we're gonna skip to the outro, okay? See ya! So I got this little guy out of the deal. Well, maybe not so little. I'm not gonna put varnish and put him up on the wall just yet. I have done some additional work on the hand. You can see it's a lot less bulbous now. And I just kind of want to sit on it for a couple of days to really make sure that I get everything that I want to into this piece. But that's about it for me this week. If you liked the video, please remember to like and maybe leave a comment. If you want to see more, please don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you all next week. See ya!